Hello, I'm Jennie Breeden, and I'm the creator of The Devil's Panties. And thank you for being patient and joining us. This is the live stream for February 2015. And tonight I will be drawing for you and answering some questions. You can post your questions on YouTube, or you can post some questions on Twitter at Jennie Breeden, and that's my Twitter handle. Okay, so making sure that I have everything set up. And thank you very much for those of you who have stayed in the chat room this entire time. We're about 20 minutes late, and you guys are awesome. I've got a bunch of people in the chat room who've been talking about Castle and Bones, and I've caught up on Agent Carter, and I'm adoring it. And I think they were talking about, I feel like they were talking about Nathan Fillion. We'll see. Okay, so awesome. Okay, everyone can see me and hear me. And I will set things up to have the art as well. Let me pull the art up on the screen so I'm all ready. So I've been taking a drawing session, and I've gotten back into, usually you have this giant canvas of paper, newsprint paper, and you're using charcoal on it. And I really got into relearning charcoal. And so when I came home last week, I pulled up, I really missed doing white charcoal on black paper. And I started playing around with different brushes in Manga Studios. And so I really got into looking at what they had to offer as far as recreating chalk and different textures. And so I don't know, this could go very well or very poorly. I'm gonna see what happens when I try to relearn a medium on the computer. I had set up a little test and I never got back around to it because I just ended up using the artwork that I had drawn at the last drawing session for the Sunday art. And so you will be seeing me cussing and yelling at the computer and trying to relearn a skill that I've already gotten to know relatively comfortably. And Laura is here, so I'm gonna geek out just a little bit because Laura is awesome. Okay, and I wish, so I'm a slow reader. Let me try to scan through this real quick and still be entertaining. Oh, somebody noticed that my shelving is gone. I had my sister come and visit, and so we put all the shelving in the closet. You can see the edge of it. And this is my sister. We had gotten a swing for my nephew, and I still need to sell it on Craigslist, even though I have a small amount of guilt because the guy that we bought it from on Craigslist didn't have the top harness on it. So it's very exciting to see a 10-month-old baby sitting upright in a swing as it goes back and forth. So we MacGyvered an extra harness into it to keep the kid strapped down. But now I feel guilty trying to resell it on Craigslist with kind of homemade harness. Anyway, Lar. Background show. Oh yes, disappeared. So I just explained it. Okay, so I will try to be entertaining. Okay, so yes, the shelving went over there. I got a storage unit because I have a large amount of merchandise and stock. So I actually have a storage unit in Atlanta that has a bunch of Dragon Con equipment in it. I'm trying to maneuver my comment section. Okay. And then I'm supposed to be cutting down on saying I did have a question from last week. I had somebody ask me how I met Laura Hamilton, and so I'm going to tell that story this week. Let me switch over. First, I'm gonna arrange my thingy. Laura, I have no idea how you do this every week. I think you just have your shtick done. I seem to have learning experiences every month that I try doing this. Okay. Making sure that I keep an eye on Twitter in case anybody makes any comments. Really, I'll try to be entertaining, honest. Trying to get all of my, okay. I'll switch this over to, yes, my computer, desktop. Come on, I believe in you. You can do it. There we go. I just had to click it twice. All right. Oh, and I still want to be able to see you guys. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay. Instead of saying too much, I'm just gonna say okay too much. How's that? So I updated my wallpapers. I don't think I have anything too vital in these things. This is out front of my family's house. My brother made what we call Mother Mary with bread loaf because she's holding it. It's got stained glass head thingies. This was several years ago in Virginia. When you have an autobiographical comic, it is difficult to pick safety password clues because everyone already knows most of the clues. I'm finding this out. Where did you grow up? Oh, shit. Okay. Focus. All right. So I set this up. I've already got the pencils. Where did I put inks? I'm going to change inks. I don't know if there's the white. Okay, so that's where I put the experimentation. Let's call this test. That one's test, and then, oh, pickles. Okay, and then this one's gonna be white, because I'm racist. So that one's test, and this one is white. Let me take away what I've already started. Okay. So I wrote myself a little cheat sheet so I can try to figure out which one is gonna recreate. I had been using colored pencils when I first did white on black, which is how they draw the Batman Adventure. Batman Adventures, I think, is the animated series that is amazing, and they just illustrate it on black paper. It's awesome. Okay, and Obi is here. Yay! Okay, now I want to read you guys. You guys are saying stuff. Lar has mentioned stuff. Oh, for the first few months. Okay, for the first few months he had a lot of crash and lagging, so I don't feel quite as bad. Phew, alright, reassured. Mr. Hanky. Referencing something a while ago. We usually try to start. Yeah, I was maybe a half hour late this time. Because we had to watch Better Call Saul, which if you liked Breaking Bad, you're gonna like Better Call Saul. Okay. Recognize those mountains. They're mountains, Edward. Shut your mouth. They're totally mountains. They're much older than all of you giant mountains. Like, Portland doesn't have mountains, they have volcanoes. We had, a couple of years ago, there was an earthquake in Virginia, which is just ridiculous. And my mom was having a meeting, and the guy that she was having a meeting with started flipping out because he was from California. He was like, I moved away from California to get away from earthquakes. And she was like, yeah, but all of our mountains aren't, the whole thing with earthquakes in... Why is this being a poopy head? The thing about earthquakes in California is that, there it goes, all of your hills and mountains are made of dirt and mud and they fall down, whereas all of our mountains in Virginia are made of very old, everything that fell off already fell off. Ish. Well, she reassured him. That was the whole point of the story. Oh, that's too fluffy as well. What was I looking for? I'm looking for kind of a chalk, maybe? No, I like this. What was this? PA. I did a cheat sheet for myself, and I forgot what the cheat sheet means. I had found it. Marker, it's not markers. There we go, pastels. Pastel, that's what I'm looking for. Now we're cooking. No, I want to be able to press down and make it darker. All right, maybe chalk will press down and make it darker. Bigger? Isn't always better. What do I feel like? I think chalk is all right. I think changing brush density will help with how hard I want to push. Maybe. Really, you didn't want to come along for the learning experience. It's overrated. All right. I think it's that. I want this thingy. What was that thingy? That looks like chalk. Crayon, pastels. I think I want something a bit more pastel-y. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Okay, so then, that's what she said. Cry looks like a spinal column. Okay, I'm moving on. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat room. Much easier to hike over real mountains. You mean the hills of Virginia, maybe? Blue Ridge Mountains? We had a 5.2 earthquake about 6 hours north of Media. Friday catch-up, that's exciting. Okay. So once upon a time, I was at San Diego Comic-Con, and it was, I think, the first year that I was exhibiting. And I worked part-time at a comic shop, and that year we had the new Anita Blake come out. And so anytime that you bought a comic, you had a free poster of the Anita Blake vampire shirtless open comic poster that would come with it for free. So we had a big box of them. So when a lady came up to me wearing a t-shirt that had the vampire on the front of it, the illustration with his shirt all open in the six-packs, I recognized it immediately as being the Anita Blake book. And she said, and I looked up at her, and I looked at the t-shirt, and I said, "Oh my God, that's my porn." That's totally, I adored, and I would tease the guys at the comic shop because finally it was equal opportunity sexism. Where I'm fine with the half-naked ladies as long as you give me some half-naked men in return. Thank you very much. So I was very happy about half-naked man on the cover of a comic. Finally. And she said, "Oh, thank you." And I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Oh, well, the Anita Blake books, I'm Lorica Hamilton. And I am so bad with names that I looked at her in the eye and said, "Who?" I was like, "That name sounds familiar. Where do I know it from?" She's like, "Well, I wrote the Anita Blake books." And I was like, oh, you're like really famous." And she said, "I had to come over and say hi because my husband and bodyguard are really big fans of yours." And I looked at the two bouncing men on either side of her, this gorgeous red-headed Viking and this other, muscle-bound hottie. And they were both bouncing up and down because they read the Devil's Panties every day. And this was back in, oh God, this was years ago. This was my first San Diego. I don't even remember anymore. So she, I think, ended up coming to Dragon Con, and God, I think her bodyguard. She turns to her bodyguard one evening, says, "Okay, we've been working Dragon Con all day. What do you want to do?" And he said, "I want to go see the kilt blowing." And she said, "That sounds interesting. Let's go check that out." And so at the time, the Dragon Con is in 3 hotels, and the Marriott was like the second or third hotel that they had. I want a different. And so in the lobby of the Marriott, yeah, that's interesting. Ish. Trying to find my. I think I want less. Yes, a little bit. Let me adjust some brushes. Density down. Do I want that? I think I want that. And so I was chasing men across the lobby of the Marriott. Ooh, I do not want that. She's got slinkies for hair. Nope. Pastel chalk crayon. Where is... I think that's pastels. Slinkies for hair. Okay. So I was in the lobby chasing men across the room. Like we would, in the beginning of the kilt blowing, we would have a herding, the herding of the kilts. And I would chase the men across the room with my leaf blower. And we were in the lobby of a hotel at midnight. And one of the gentlemen's kilts, Laurel had a chair that she had set up in the middle of the lobby that we all were performing around in front of. And one of the men's kilt was made out of chainmail, which is very difficult to get it up. And so we had him spin, because that was the only way that this kilt was going to make it upright. I don't like that texture. Going to make it move. And so we had him spin around. And it worked nicely because the chainmail kept it kind of, it kept it down enough that we got a nice, movement to it. Well, the next guy was in cotton. Cotton moves really well. And so the women started chanting spin, and he leapt up in the air and spun around and came down. Well, the thing about cotton, if you've ever spun in a skirt, it goes straight up. So he was fully exposed, and then the next gentleman to come up was also in cotton, and we accidentally fully exposed him as well. And then I had a very nice police officer talk to me about public indecency. And that was in the comics. So after the nice police officer talked to us, which, okay, the full thing about the police officer is that he was a really nice big black guy who I gave him a hard time because I was like, "What seems to be the problem, officer?" And he was like, "Ma'am, you just can't what, officer?" And so I really was kind of forcing him to say out loud, "You can't show men's penises. It's public." I said, "Officer, it's midnight." Because he tried pulling that there's children present. I was like, "Sir, it's midnight. There's a woman getting spanked across the hall. Really, this is the least of their problems." Okay, somebody else showed up in the chat room, but now I can't. Okay, I need to pay attention. So I want this to be smoother. So finally, I wore him down because he just refused. He didn't want to say it. He didn't want to say it out loud. So finally he said, "Well, they're all wearing something under there, right?" And I said, "Why, yes, officer. As soon as we get that gentleman over there to put on some sandals, they will all be wearing something under their kilt." Well, after the security guard, I noticed that behind the police officer was all of the heads of security of the hotel standing behind him. So one way or the other, we were going to get kicked out. So actually I had said, is it okay if we continue? Because there are 250 women here who I have no control over. So if anything, if you could give me a head start, I would like to start running before you tell these women that we're shutting this down. So I said, can we just not turn on the leaf blower and continue? And he said, okay. So I had the guys pretend. I had them pretending that the leaf blower was on. And it actually came out better because they were a lot more comfortable to pose, that they weren't worrying as much about being exposed. Those are nice, but hold on, let me look at this without the pencils. I've stopped paying attention to the outlines. Okay, this is the hard part that I used to be really good at. Getting the eyeballs. So Laurel K. Hamilton was sitting there the whole time, and she saw that we were having a little trouble with security. So she turns to Dragon Con and she says, I like this. I don't like it that the cops keep getting in the way of this event. Give her a room. And so Dragon Con gave us a room to perform in so that we're not technically breaking the law with public indecency. So yeah, the next year we had our own room. We carded everybody. We checked ID of both participants and viewers, because even though we try not to expose anyone, shit happens. Especially since we were on a stage. How do I want this? I think I want a little eyelid here. And a lot of the women were at eye level. And pretty much all the men, we get a couple of skirts, but pretty much all the men are wearing kilts. My husband is very understanding. Okay. Gotta look at this. Actually, we're not just doing this gray. Yes, that's what it will kind of look like. I used to do this a lot in college. I think that under... Yeah, that looks better. Let's see. Usually the brightest bit is there, and I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna add black. I should probably do this on another layer. And unfortunately, you either get good art or good storytelling, but very few times, unless you're looking at Lars, you're going to get both good storytelling and good artwork. So we're kind of sacrificing the art for story time. So I had this friend who went out to lunch with Laurel, and they had a lot of fun teasing the waiter. And the friend came back to me and said, I've got a comic for you. It's about Laurel and I teasing a waiter. And I said, that's a great idea, but Laurel has better lawyers than I do. I want to really make sure that it's okay with her that I do a comic that I wasn't there for. About a year later, she said, hey, can I get you to do a comic about us teasing a waiter? What do you want to get paid for it? And I was like, well, you put my URL in your book? She said, yeah. So I think it was called Flirt. In the back of her book, Flirt, is a bunch of my comics about her and our friend teasing a waiter. It was a lot of fun. All right. You zoom away and it looks better. The horns are kind of janky. Shit. Yeah, I gotta redo these horns. And I should be doing this on another layer. Okay, put in the filter so I can see what I'm doing. All right. Laura asked if Obi has a kilt. He owns one that I got him that he wore once. Well, he wore it once to the Renaissance Festival because it was a lot cooler than a kilt because it's freaking hot. And then he wore it once. He showed up once to the kilt blowing. And unfortunately, he didn't actually let me blow him in the kilt, which I am a little upset, a little perturbed. I kind of want to look at ram's horns to get this. I'm going to put horns on a different layer. So Obi showed up to one of the kilt blowings, and I was like, oh my god, he's going to let me blow his kilt. But before I could get the leaf blower up and running, he lifts the kilt up, and he's got a velvet box attached to his shorts that he's wearing underneath the kilt, and the velvet box has a very sparkly ring in it that he lifts up. And so I've had to stop telling people that he had a ring under his kilt. He had a ring that was in a box that was attached to some shorts that were on him. So it wasn't presented in the fashion that you guys are thinking it was, pervs. So yes, that completely blindsided me. Oh, I like these more. So then I said yes. And then we ran away because it's hard to think when you've got 375 is the capacity of that room. People screaming. It was awesome. It's on YouTube. You can look it up. In it, when he shows up, I take my hair out of the ponytail because I know that he likes long hair. He likes my hair down. So I was trying to look pretty for him, and then I got distracted by sparkly. It was so sparkly. I still have it. It's so sparkly. All right, well, that's interesting. Let's take a look at... Horns are okay. I go underneath the layer and put a little bit. Meh. Okay, moving on. White. There we go. She is very unamused. All right, what am I using? That one? No. I want to use maybe pastel? Sure, I think I'm using pastel for the skin anyway. And then kind of a... Okay, different texture for this. I think I'm going to use noise. That's noise, and this is pastel. I think I'm using noise for this. See what this looks like. So Laurie said, I think he can be forgiven for not letting you leaf blow him then. Yes, but he could have come back for later. It was very romantic. It was very romantic. Okay, so I have successfully told the story of Laurel and the proposal. I think she needs to be in a corset. Originally, I was just going to have her kind of a kimono type of thing. But I think she definitely needs a corset. And then I was going to show you some of the life drawing sketches that I've done. Today, I'm interested in trying to learn, like I did watercolor for faces, and now I've started to play with it for this life drawing session. I call them session instead of classes because it's not a class, it's just a model. I really want to get some folds in here. There we go. So then, so Navigator True asked if he knew my ring size before he got it for me. He guessed. Then we went and got a sandwich. The sandwich was awesome. We got a sandwich in the same spot where I set up at Dragon Con for the first time. It was really romantic. Okay, I want this thingy. I think that was crayon, charcoal maybe? I was about to tell a story. Wait, hold on. Crayon. Because I think I've got to figure out fabric folds. Oh, so the ring, he got what was called a proposal ring, which is just kind of a placeholder. It was this $30 ring that had, you know, glass, sparkly bit, and it was silver. And he said, okay, this'll hold the place until we can go in and get you the real ring. And I said, you're gonna have to pry it off of my cold dead hand. This thing is sparkly as fuck, and I don't have to worry about it getting lost or stolen or anything because it's a $30 ring. We can just go get another one. It almost went down the shower drain because it actually doesn't fit me in the cold. It'll fall right off. I wear it for special occasions because it's so sparkly. I kept having people ask me what Obi did for a living, and I didn't quite understand until I realized that it looks like a fucking huge, amazing ring. And so people would say, what does he do for a living? Because it's a big sparkly ring. It's like, no, it's glass, it's fine, it's all the important parts. Okay, do I want a marker? I don't think I want a marker. No. I think I want, what do I want? Pencil, maybe. Still playing. Okay, let's see. Obsidian is the ball guy who draws commissioned comics. Oh yeah, O is awesome. I thought Obi is a shortened version of Obsidian. It is. Did Obi respond? What kind of nut would name their kid Obsidian? Hey, Obi, we have met some nuts. What did I want to do? I wanted to do a corset with a rib cage. Obsidian is what his handle was when he, what was it, IRC? I should probably look up a rib cage to get this right, because I feel like I'm not gonna get it perfectly. Yeah, I'm not gonna get it perfectly. I'm gonna look up a rib cage. Gonna cheat. Rib, skeleton, rib. Yeah, let me look at some images of. Oh no, that's not, there we go. That's not what it looks like at all. All right, let's see. Get a realistic, there we go. All right. And then making sure that I can still read your, Laurie's a lech. Why is Laura lech? Let's see. Maybe you need to. I'm not going to repeat what Laura said. And I'm not going to say out loud my answer to that question about blowing in kilts and blowing. And so anatomy is a really important part of art, and I went to Savannah College of Art and Design, and I took an anatomy class, and it was talking about atoms and shit, and it was the worst anatomy class ever. And then I went and took drawing for sequential, and we were given these little skeletons that were about a foot or two high. And I'm saying too much. And every day we were given clay, and we learned a new part of the muscular system, and we would add the muscular system onto the skeleton that we brought to class every day. And as the year progressed, as the quarter progressed, this would look more and more like a half-skinned skeleton. And people started crossing the street to get away from these crazy anatomy students, or sequential students, because we'd be walking around Savannah with these bizarre, what looked like, it kind of looked like a toddler that we had skinned. So that was an awesome class. And anatomy is very important if you're gonna want to draw comics and shit. Do I have this facing the right way? I feel like I have it facing the right way. I kind of do. Okay, so then I feel like that could have been better. What did I use for the... This is light pencil. I should not be writing that on my white layer, test layer, yeah. This is lighter. Wow, I misspelled that. It's sitting right there and I misspelled that. Pencil for when I want to use it again. And then what am I using? The skin. I should have known. The skin, I think, was a pastel. Yeah. Skin. All right, lock that layer so I don't work on it by mistake. Oh, Laura said O is a crazy talented mother. Oh my God. So I got on their podcast, and you and O, you know, sit there and draw. O has interns and shit. And he pointed out some drawing techniques that I was not taught in freaking college, which are very interesting. Turning the image upside down and working on it for a little bit. I think that was more of a illustration technique. Okay, da, 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 da. And then I used noise for the sleeves, using different textures. And yeah, so I was like, oh, we're gonna draw for this podcast. I'm gonna draw like ladybugs and stuff. And so he drew this ridiculously amazing ladybug tank in this rainforest. And I'm like, God damn it. Being awesome and shit. What's wrong with you? Okay, trying to get some folds. Fabric. I can do fabric. And Portland is awesome, and I've been going on hikes. I went to Multnomah Falls, which is absolutely ridiculous because you start at the bottom of the fall and then you go all the way to the top, and it is 1 mile. It's 1.5 miles up to the top of the fall, and then you walk the 1.5 miles back down. But holy crap. If you are afraid of heights, don't go, because you are kind of just walking up this edge. That didn't work too well. There we go, that's a bit better. Sorry, paying attention to fabric. I hope Obi is entertaining you. Which will suck, because if somebody comes back and watches this later, right now I'm halfway through the live stream of Double Clicks. They did like this live concert, and I like that I can pause it, but what I realized was that if you are watching something that has already happened, you can't read the comment section. So anytime I answer something from the comment section, I will try to say it out loud. Posterity. They used dead ones too. Well, crap. Where has the conversation gone? That is my Native American name. Places Jackie, no go. Alright, well, I gotta catch up on, dang it. Da Vinci used, Michelangelo and Da Vinci used live models as references. If they use references, then sure as hell it's not cheating. I think some artists got in trouble because they were using cadavers, because that was the only way you could look at a skeleton. And I feel like one of the big guys had gotten, Michelangelo or somebody had gotten in trouble because he has the sketches of fetus, because he went in and drew a lady who had passed away and had been pregnant, and so he had these amazing drawings of what that looks like. There we go. That's no. I'm still learning. Maybe if I just get one big one. Yeah, okay. We're gonna do that one. Alright, well, maybe less so? I should not be doing this on the same layer. Alright. Let's see what this looks like now. Ooh, that last bit was a bad idea. Yay, undo. There we go. Let's take a look. I need something to smooth this out. Something that doesn't look like a slinky, maybe. Light pencil would definitely work. Okay, I'm going to do another layer, so anything I do, I can undo. That was the horns. I'm going to rename this horns. Okay. Da, 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 da. It's too bright though. Take out the test. So I don't think I'm going to be able to, I'm not going to finish this on camera. The final piece is going to be available for download for Patreons. So I've got my Patreon page, and there is a patron level where you get the high res of the art that is drawn on this live stream. Her hand came out really well. I like that hand. But the kimono needs some work. Face looks okay. Oh, I forgot the wings. Gracious. Okay. So we're going to be posting the final piece on Patreon. And then I'm going to have a bunch of bonus material from Bonus Booty, because I got most of Christmas on tape. I have my dingling stuck in my head. It's probably not the most appropriate. Alright, I think I'm about done. I'm going to do some final touch-ups off camera. And then I'm going to post a high res of this for subscribers on Patreon. Awesome. Thank you guys. We started 20 minutes late, so we do have 10 more minutes to make this 1 hour. Let me see if I can catch up with if there are any questions on the comment section. There is a smudge type tool. Ooh, I do need to find the smudge tool. I've seen corsets around that have skeletal ribs in the corsets. Oh, Laura, please do steal it. I stole it from Goths. I think you can actually do a Google search for ribcage corset, and I think a lot of them have like a pendant, like a window in the front of the corset that has a skeletal piece of art on it to make it look like you're looking through to their ribcage. So yeah, I did for I think a lot of the clubbing comics. I have Happy Goth in a ribcage corset. And some of them came out better than others. This one, I want to work on this one a little bit more because, well, I should save. Huh. That sucks. Yeah, I want to touch up the rib cage. It didn't come out as well. But yeah. Let's see. What has happened before my eyes and I still can't believe. Aw. Yet my stick figures look like they were hacked to bits. Fantastic. Thank you, Jackie. Whenever somebody says that their stick figures suck, Nigel Saad would say, "Oh yeah, the shading always gets me." Jackie, maybe I have my dingling stuck in my head because we were talking about kilts. Maybe because I'm a perv. Edward, you're welcome. Now you all get it stuck in your head. Oh, Friday catch-up. I'm probably going to be gone before you get back. Man left a letter in the rain. Grab it. Grab it. It's called color mixing, not smudging. Okay. Let's see. Because, yeah, the smudge tool is a Photoshop. Color mixing. Oh, Laurie's about to rock my world. Okay, I'm going to put this on test. Pull this up again so I don't mess with my layer. I like me some big brushes, and I cannot lie. Nope. Nope. Blending? I have a blend. No. Maybe I need to do this on white. No. Yes. White. Blending. Okay, so there's a there's a blend. So that's nice. I can blend that. I'm being sloppy. I'm being so sloppy. Okay, so there's a blend tool, and then blur. Okay, so this looks like it's mixing pre-existing. Fingertip. What does fingertip do? All right, well, that's interesting. Go back, go back. Reverse. Okay, so I'm going to play with that a little bit. Let's see, in the same subtool set is blur. All those brushes are for blending. Yeah, so I can't use them on their own, but I can use them on top. Soothing watercolor. Does that? Nope, doesn't do anything on its own. Soothing watercolor doesn't look like it does diddly squat. Soothing watercolor kind of sucks. I really like the blend one. Blur? I need to do this when you guys aren't sitting here watching. Copy the layer. I should have. Okay. Okay. So, save. Thank you guys for joining me. I think I'm going to do this again. Let's see what March looks like. Move this around a bit so you got something to look at. Take off my test. So I think we will do this another Wednesday. Wednesday feels good. Ooh, I've got id all. I marked down Wednesdays for id. We like Thursdays? I think we like Thursdays. Lar does his thing on Fridays, I think. So I'm gonna say the 12th. Let's do a live stream Thursday the 12th. Yeah. And I think this time seems to work well for everybody. Jackie is being weird. Okay, so let me pull up my, what am I using? I'm using Wirecast. Here we are. Let's move me back to me. There we go. I hope it hasn't been too ridiculous. So yes. So it looks like the next live stream is going to be Thursday the 12th, and that's 9 p.m. Eastern time and 6 p.m. West Coast Pacific time. 6 Pacific. Sorry, Family Guy joke. Okay, so I'm going to say thank you guys. You were awesome. Okay, which me being a little derpy. Okay, so we're ending a little bit early, but I have run out of entertainment for you. And please rack up some questions for next week. I had story time. The question for this story time was how had I met Lorica Hamilton. So you can send me more questions for next week. And so thank you very much. I will see you next month. Same time, different day, which it seems to be that works on many different levels. Okay, and thank you for joining me. And I'm going to press